Okay, hello, welcome to Omea. Okay, so this is a sponsored stream, just to let you know. We've got some early access to Omea, where you essentially create your own story. So it's like a create your own adventure text thing. A lot of people were doing like the AI dungeon, many years ago, and it was popular on YouTube. But this takes it a bit further. So whilst that's just very much text, this has a lot of graphical elements, the dice rolls and everything. But you can literally choose your own thing without, choices. Type to what you want to do, and the AI story will make it go along. So yeah, thank you again for the developers for the sponsorship. Very, very much appreciated. Seems that the start story that we begin with is Odin's Trial by Ethan Winters. The storm took your ship. You wake alone on a frozen shore. Find a way out of the cold, or something worse claims you. So, survival horror Viking sandbox. How we do, but yeah. I'm going to explain this. Who will witness your saga? So it's the character. Okay, so there's a Viking raider, 30 winters. Does that mean he's 30 years old? Washed ashore half dead over a shipwreck on the rocks, alone on a frozen island. Aches for home and he can no longer picture, and something in the dark already circled. Or a 30-year-old shield maiden. Washed ashore, half dead, shipwreck on the rocks alone, searching for home, no longer picturing, something in the dark already circled. So they're basically same. This guy is missing a shoe though, and also has what looks like a zombie foot. Plus forge your own. Can we make our own? So it's like you can choose or like create our own character. Streaming, hide this screen first. We're about to reveal a QR code that leads to the saga on your phone. Why would I want the QR code? I don't use QR codes. I want to play on screen. Will I hide this window? Okay, well I guess that's not create your character, that's just play it on your phone. I don't know, that's not very clear that that's what that means. So let's pick the Shield Maiden. Okay, then we've got stats that we can do. Storm took everything, your ship, your shield sisters, the most of your memory. You wake half frozen on a strange shore, ringed by wreckage and the dead. You know only two things. You're a shield maiden. You have a home referring to everything else, names, faces. The shape of your hall slips through your fingers like meltwater. Ahead lies an island of the frozen forests and jagged cliffs, and the promise of a long cold death. Something watches from the shadows. Survive it. Remember who you are. Find your way home. Okay, so I guess we need things. So do we get to change the statistics? Are the statistics different for the other guy? Persuasion is abysmal. Ironically, average mental state despite having no memory or anything. Socially weak, but physically strong. Is that because of the lack of thoughts or something? I don't know. Insight's also weak. Intimidation, average. So she's got scars and Viking-y and ripped up and survived a boat wreck. I'd say that should be better. Law abysmal as well. Then Vikings don't have law. Yeah, let's check it out. Tears and fire. Viking raiders in a book. Guess they were pillaging. They set fire to the village and stole their sacred idol. And then the storm claimed them for their misdeeds, and then they crashed. And then a raven appears.
Finally. I am Hugin. Thought. Yours specifically. The only part of your mind Odin left you. Your memory waits across this island. My brother Munin. Reach the frozen passage before the blood moon peaks. Or remain nothing. One problem. Fenrir's child guards the passage. Tonight it hunts the whole island. Can you outrun God's wolf?
Raggedy raven. Wings looks too small. Oh, it's got another raven friend. That's nice. But it's always the ravens that are your thoughts, right? Low fjords at noon. Bodies scattered all over the beach.
Your legs obey, but sluggishly. You push up from the wet rock, your balance swaying like a mast in a gale. The wind cuts straight through your soaked tunic, biting at the skin beneath. Every joint protests, stiff and aching.
Okay, so, risk of
You
hypothermia, the
stand on a
clothes
shelf
away.
of black stone, overlooking a narrow fjord. To the west, the gray ocean heaves, littered with splintered timber. The remains of your Drakkar lie broken against the rocks.
I don't know, it
A
looks fairly
skeleton
intact
of
in
a
this
once
picture.
proud warship.
Just a little crack. Okay, then there's just a
Bodies
close-up of a
bob in the
person.
shallows or lie sprawled on the dark sand. Your shield brothers and sisters, claimed by the sea. Further up the shore, a smear of vivid red stains the rock, leading toward a crumpled shape on the cliff edge.
Standing up. A bold strategy. The cold will take your toes before the wolf takes your throat. Do you feel the frost in your fingers yet?
To the north,
I haven't
the
made a
land
choice in
rises
it.
into
Telling
high,
me
jagged
that I'm
cliffs.
standing up.
South, the terrain slopes down toward what looks like a beach. East, a steep, dark path cuts into a dense forest of spruce and birch. The sun hangs low and pale. It is barely noon.
You have until the red moon rises. That is not long. Choose your path, chosen. Die here or die trying.
Okay. Also, it seemed like there's a microphone thing, so I guess we could do voice things, but, you know, should I do voice things? Because it won't recognize the name, will it? If I talk, it will probably not recognize. But it's interesting that you can do a voice thing. Okay, should we try the voice thing just to begin with? Search the wreckage for dry clothes. Search the wreckage for dry clothes and find what we can wear. If not, scavenge some dry wood to create a fire. Scavenging? Sure, let's just let it say scavenging. That's the records. I said wreckage, but yeah, sure, I'm sure that's fine.
You scramble down the slick rocks toward the bodies. The sea has claimed most of what they carried. Leather sodden, wool heavy with brine. You tear a fur cloak from a drowned shield brother, wringing out a gallon of seawater before draping it over
A
your
whole
shoulders.
gallon.
It is cold and reeks of salt, but it cuts the wind better than your soaked tunic. Near another body, half buried in sand, you find a small pouch of flint and steel, still dry in its oilskin wrap.
Okay, so I've got some flint and steel and some dry things.
You move along the tide line, gathering driftwood scattered by the storm. Most is green and useless, but you find enough dry branches and splintered planks from the wreck to make a start. The wood is rough against your numb fingers, but the effort brings a flush of warmth to your cheeks.
Okay, we got dry wood as well.
Dressing in the dead. Practical. But wood won't save you from the night. Not here. The cold has teeth.
The sun hangs low, casting long shadows across the fjord. The wind picks up, howling through the ribs of the shattered Drakkar. You have fuel and a spark, but no shelter yet.
I was immediately thinking we should go look for somewhere covered to then go. Search for somewhere nice and safe from the wind, a shelter, and whilst on the way look for any mushrooms or berries or food that we can forage before creating a fire in the shelter and cooking food to eat with. I guess we're going to talk rather than typing. And see how that works.
You scan the jagged shoreline for a break in the wind. The cliffs offer some natural depressions, but most are open to the biting gusts. Near the tree line to the east, you spot a shallow overhang where a slab of rock is split away from the cliff face. It's not a cave, but it might offer enough shelter to keep a flame alive.
That's good enough for now, right?
You head toward it, eyes on the ground for anything edible. The frost-bitten terrain is harsh. You spot a few clusters of berries on a low bush. Their bright red skin stark against the gray stone.
Are they good
plump,
berries, though? Are they poisonous?
Red berries. In late autumn, the island is generous. Or perhaps...
I was just thinking that.
The wind howls through the rock formations, carrying the scent of salt and decay.
You reach the overhang, testing the stone. It's dry, and the wind here is reduced to a stiff breeze rather than a gale. You drop your driftwood, ready to strike a spark. But first you must decide if the berries are worth the risk.
I don't want to risk them. I don't think they're good. The mental and survival's weak. I don't think the berries are worth it. I think we're going to throw away the berries. It says find safe foods and adequate shelter, but I don't want the berries. Like... Difficulty 5+. How many dice are we rolling? Did a d20? Got 3 dice. Whatever. YOLO. Critical failure. Okay. I'd save shelter. I mean, let's accept one. That was awful. Like, I wanted to throw those berries away. Okay, we've got 2 story pointers. So we can use them to manipulate success or not. Success. But I would have thrown those berries away. Look closer at red berries. The bright, too perfect. You leave them untouched instead. Okay, yeah, I would have thrown them away. It didn't give me a choice. Went with the dice rolls.
You look closer at the red berries, and a primal instinct raises the hair on your neck. Too bright, too perfect. You leave them untouched. Instead, you scour the tidal pools near the wreck and pry clusters of blue mussels from the rocks. They are small, but meaty and safe enough. You retreat to the rock overhang, piling the driftwood in a sheltered nook. The flint strikes true on the first try-shower of sparks, a curl of birch bark catching, then a hungry flame licking at the dry wood. Heat washes over you, driving the numbness from your fingers. You huddle close, roasting the mussels on a flat stone until they pop open.
You passed on the poisoned fruit. Good. The island tries to feed you to the soil before the wolf even wakes. Eat. You will need the strength.
Yeah, I would have thrown them away. Bright red circular berries. Definitely not a smart thing. We wouldn't have even picked them. Contemplate who we are. Try to get any memory of where we came from, what we were doing, and plan where we might want to go with our next step. Take a look around. See where we can go from here, what looks good in what direction, and if there's anywhere that we might want to go. I mean, it's doing not bad at recognizing my voice. Demo version L.
You stare into the fire, willing the flames to conjure a face, a name, a home. Nothing comes but the ache of an empty skull. You remember the feel of a shield in your hand, the weight of a sword, the rhythm of an oar, but not the faces of the rowers, not the name of the jarl you served. You are a weapon without a wielder, a story without a beginning. You stand and turn from the fire, letting your eyes trace the paths that lie ahead. To the north, the land climbs sharply toward high cliffs that bite into the sky. The path looks steep and exposed, but from the height, you might see the whole island. To the south, the terrain slopes down toward a wide beach, where the storm has thrown up wreckage and debris, perhaps more supplies, or more dead. To the east, a dark, narrow path cuts into the dense forest of spruce and birch. The trees stand like silent sentinels, their branches heavy with frost. The sun
The
hangs
sound
low,
haunted.
pale, cold. Time is slipping away.
Looking backward will not bring your memory back, only forward. The high ground gives sight, the forest gives cover, the beach gives salvage. Which does a warrior choose?
None of them. Path. Broken ore. All. Okay. Minute. Head to the south and search for the salvage, for any equipment that might prove useful. Any tools, any swords and shields, perhaps anything that might bring us salvation. And search for an alternative path, for a warrior would not go through cover or seek the high mountains. They would look to battle their own way forward. So we will search for that. See how it reacts to that. Ba-ba-bum. Beach in the afternoon.
You leave the shelter of the overhang and ascend the path to the south. The rocky slope gives way to sand, dark and wet from the receding tide. The wind here is differentless, a knife, more a heavy cold hand pushing against your back.
The beach stretches out before you, a curve of gray stone and foam littered with the storm's debris. Tidal pools glitter like broken mirrors, trapped between black rocks. Seabirds cry overhead, circling and diving, their voices sharp against the endless crash of waves. You begin your search, wading through the drift in kelp. The sea has been cruel to your gear. You find splintered shields, their painted faces scraped away by the rocks. A sword hilt, rusted and pitted, lies half buried in the sand, the blade long since snapped. Useful tools are scarce. You gather a length of thick, fibrous kelp rope from a tangle of seaweed, and a few smooth, heavy stones that could serve as projectiles or hammerheads. No intact weapons present themselves yet, only the wreckage of war.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, we got the sword hilt,
Further down the
we've got
shore,
thing.
near the water's edge where the foam bubbles white, something catches your eye. A large piece of the Drakar's hull has washed up, and pinned beneath it is a body. Not dead, or not yet. A man lies half submerged in the wet sand, trapped under the heavy timber. His skin is pale as fish belly, his lips blue. He does not move, but his chest rises and falls in shallow, ragged gasps. Hypothermia has him in its grip.
Another one? The sea is spitting out more than just wood today. He looks cold. Very cold. Fire fixes that. You have the means.
To the southwest, the beach narrows and ends at a rocky point jutting into the surf. To the east, beyond the sand, the terrain rises into snow-covered plains. The sun is lower now, the shadows stretching long across the beach. The man under the timber will not last long without warmth.
Create a small fire next to the guy that is in the wreckage. Use the fibrous rope to craft the hammerhead onto the sword hilt and make a strong and sturdy hammer. Smash out the boat to free the guy and pull him out of the wreckage. And then use the shimmering tidal pools to create a portal to the gods to ask Odin for his great assistance to help save this person. Let's see how you handle that one. Okay, let's see how it handles that one. But so for anyone that has adverts and wants now to stop other adverts. Thinking, are we?
You pile the driftwood near the trapped man, shielding the tinder from the wind with your body. Flint strikes steel, sparks showering onto the dry birch bark. A curl of smoke, then a flame. You feed it quickly, building a blaze that pushes back the gray afternoon chill. The heat reaches the man, and his chest heaves a deep, rattling gasp. Color returns slowly to his cheeks. He stirs, eyes fluttering open, clouded with confusion.
Cold. So cold. The ship. It broke.
I
You
guess
turn to the
that.
wreckage. The rusted sword hilt is pitted but solid. You wrap a smooth stone in the fibrous kelp rope, lashing it tightly to the broken tang. The wet rope is slippery, and the stone shifts under the tension. It takes effort to bind it securely enough to hold. With your improvised hammer raised, you look at the shimmering tidal pool. You chant to Odin,
Okay,
pleading
sure,
for a
we've
gate.
now got
The water ripples in
Odin's
the wind,
hammer
reflecting
instead,
the
I
pale
guess.
sky. Nothing happens. The gods are not listening to the water today.
Portals? In a puddle? You hit your head harder than I thought. Try the hammer. It's real.
I was using the hammer
You
on
swing
it.
the heavy stone hammer at the timber, pinning the man. The wood is wet and heavy, resisting the blow.
Difficulty 4+. Okay, we're physically strong and we're athletic. We should be able to do this one. Plenty of dice. 1 failure and 1 success. Failure? I mean, come on. Like, that's crazy. Gonna reroll. There we go. That's more like it. Massive success. We burst the whole boat. We've only got 1 story point left, though.
The stone hammer strikes true. With a sickening crack, the wet timber splinters, the heavy hull fragments shattering under the blow. You shove the wreckage aside, heaving the man free from the sand and foam. He coughs, seawater spilling from his lips, and collapses onto the dry sand near the fire. The tidal pool ripples in the wind, reflecting only the gray sky and your own desperate face. No gate opens. No voice answers.
I think we should have got a
gods are
roll on
silent.
the speaking to the gods, you know?
You ask the puddle for a miracle. The All-Father is busy. You have hands. Use them.
The man by the
Okay,
fire
Raven.
shivers violently as the heat penetrates his frozen limbs. He pushes himself up on one elbow, blinking against the light.
It was a
His eyes
shimmering,
focus on
perfect
you,
reflection,
then
though.
on the
It should have
shattered
been a
timber.
portal to the gods.
Finally on the crude hammer in your hand.
You pulled me out. I thought the sea had me. I am Leif, scout for Jarl Thorfinn. You were on the Drakkar. I remember your face.
He grips his sea axe knife, checking it, then looks around the beach.
Sea axe?
The wind is picking up, and the sun is dipping lower toward the horizon.
We are not alone. Tracks in the sand. Large. Not wolf. Something else.
They're not Fenrir. Ba-bum. Do you know what these tracks could be and which direction they are going? Should we hunt it or should we go the opposite way? Can you tell me more about me? What our boat was doing with its purpose? Could you tell me more about how we might have crashed and what the Drakkar was doing on its voyage? car. That one was important to correct.
Leif crouches by the tracks, his brow furrowed as he studies the impressions in the wet sand. They are deep, wider than a man's hand, with claw marks that tear the earth rather than press it.
Not wolf. Too big. The stride is wrong.
Werewolf.
Almost like a man, but heavy. Like it wears iron.
Iron Man.
They head inland, toward the trees. Hunt it? No. We have one axe between us and no shields. Whatever made these would break us like driftwood.
He warms his hands by the fire, staring into the flames as memory surfaces.
We raided Northumbria, took gold, cattle, thralls. Jarl Thorfinn was pleased. The sea was calm when we left. Then the sky turned black. Not a storm, a wall of water. The Drakkar, it just shattered. I don't remember hitting the shore.
A wall of water. How
That wasn't a
poetic.
storm like it showed
The
us.
truth is usually less kind. But the tracks are real, and they lead away from the sea.
The fire crackles, sending sparks up into the gray afternoon. Leif looks at you, then at the path leading north toward the cliffs, and east toward the dark forest where the tracks vanish.
We need higher ground to see where we are. Or cover. Your choice, Shield Sister.
I guess we need to go to the north. Head to the north, as every true Viking would. Along the way, see if there are any more implements that we can use to our advantage. Any abandoned armor, weapons, or anything that we might be able to craft. Perhaps craft a nice spear with some pointy driftwood and useful wood along the way. Otherwise, it's not going to go to that. Okay, that's going to probably pass time because we're going to go to a new area. Oh, fjords, golden hour. This is definitely going to be the red sun rising, though, isn't it?
You leave the fire and the warmth of the beach behind, heading north.
The path climbs from the wet sand to rocky ground, then steepens as you ascend the cliff face. The wind is stronger here, whipping your wet furs.
Although it looks we're just on the
But the
beach.
exertion warms your blood.
My fur should be dry, though. Because we replaced it and dried it out.
Golden
in the
hour light spills
land
across
in
the fjord, turning
shelter.
the gray water into beaten copper and casting long, sharp shadows from the black rocks. Leif follows close behind, moving with the quiet grace of a scout, his eyes constantly scanning the terrain. As you climb, you keep your eyes open for anything useful. The storm scattered debris everywhere. You find a sturdy length of driftwood, straight and thick enough for a spear shaft, and a shard of sharp slate that could serve as a point. Near the top of the cliff, the ground levels out into a rocky plateau. The smell hits you first rot and copper. A smear of dried blood leads up the rocks to a crumpled shape. A Viking lies there, but not like the ones drowned by the sea. This one was torn apart. The chest is ripped open, ribs gleaming white through the ruin. The head is gone. Whatever did this was immensely strong.
A message, written in blood and bone. Do you feel small now, Chosen?
You reach the highest point of the low fjords. The view opens up. To the west, the ocean stretches to the horizon. empty and cold. North, the land rises even higher into jagged peaks. East, the dark forest spreads out like a bruise, and beyond it, you can see the glint of ice on the eastern shore, the frozen passage. South, the beach you just left is a thin strip of gray below. The sun touches the horizon. You have perhaps an hour of light left.
High ground. Good. We can see them coming, but they can see us too.
Well, I guess we need to go to the frozen passage, don't we? Provide Leif the tools to create a spear and inform him to do so, and then quickly search the Viking for any useful tools before heading towards the frozen passage, because this will be our escape. But go around the forest, but not through it, as this will give us greater visibility and easier travel. A sphere. Spear. If he creates a sphere, that's not going to help do so. Obviously, we've got items with us, you know. But if he can defend himself, we've got a hammer. He can have the spear. I said go around the forest, not in the forests. And also, where was my transposition?
The fjords descends steeply into the forest, the light fading from gold to bruised purple as the sun dipped below the horizon. The air is colder here, still and damp beneath the canopy of spruce and birch. Shadows stretch long between the trees, and the silence is heavy, broken only by the occasional rustle of branches in the wind.
And I guess we're not searching the body first.
Good wood. Slate will hold if I bind it tight. Give me a moment.
Leif crouches by a tree trunk, using a strip of kelp from your rope to lash the slate point to the shaft. His hands are steady, practiced. While he works, you turn to the mutilated body. The ruin is too great for much salvage. The clothes are shredded, soaked in blood that has long since turned black. You find nothing but a broken belt buckle and a few useless scraps of leather. Whatever killed this man left nothing of value behind.
Dead men carry no coin, only cold meat for the crows.
Leif stands up, testing the weight of the new spear. It is crude, but the point is sharp, and the shaft holds true.
It will do. Not a warrior's weapon, but it keeps distance. You want to go east, to the ice?
Yeah, that's where we're going.
Set off, skirting the edge of the forest, rather than plunging into its dark heart. The trees here are dense, their branches interlocking overhead to block the last of the twilight. The ground is uneven, hidden under a layer of snow and dead leaves. To your right, the forest is a wall of black trunks. To your left, the land slopes down toward the distant shore where the frozen passage waits. The wind picks up, carrying with it the distant, mournful howl of a wolf. It is closer than before.
They are waking. We should move faster.
With heightened pace, we should run towards the frozen passage, using the leather and the belts as a bit of additional cover to have a bit of additional warmth and take off the wet clothes that we have. Replace them with these. Have Leif watch our backs with this spear and make sure to defend us should the opportunity arise. Ferry! The boat! Well, this looks nice and easy to cross.
The forest edge spits you out onto the rocky ground of the eastern shore. The light is nearly gone. A bruised purple fading to black. The wind here is a living thing, screaming off the water, carrying salt spray that freezes on your eyelashes. Before you lies the frozen passage, a jagged bridge of white ice stretching 200 meters toward the mainland. Fires flicker on the distant shore, tiny and unreachable. The ice groans, a deep, resonant crack that vibrates in your teeth. It is dying. You strip off your soaked wool, your fingers numb and clumsy. The wind hits your skin like a whip. You fumble with the leather scraps you found, trying to wrap them around your torso for warmth. It is a poor shield, stiff, ill-fitting, and cold against your flesh, but better than the wet wool that freezes as it touches you. You drop the sodden clothes into the dark.
Yeah, I definitely think that it should have dried off when
Oh,
we were in the other
wait.
thing, though.
Look at the ice. It's moving.
Leif plants his feet, the crude spear leveled at the
is that a
darkness
name?
behind you. His eyes are wide, darting between the shadows of the rocks and the tree line you just fled.
Something is following us. I can feel it. The air... it smells wrong.
A sound tears through the wind. Not a wolf, but something deeper, wetter. A roar that vibrates in your chest. It comes from the forest, but it is closer than before. The passage lies ahead, a fragile white spine over black water. The mainland fires seem to mock you from across the dark strait.
The Welcome Committee. They know you are here. They always know.
Ask Leif why he called us Ord. Is that our name? Does he know our name? And then prepare for the Fenrir to come out. Perhaps set a fire on a stick to hold the shadows at bay, and carefully retreat to a safe point of the ice where, if the beast should attack us, we can lull it into a trap to fall under the ice whilst we make a getaway. I need to change that. It's like all. No, it was Ord. A-U-D. Does he know her name? Not that we had much cunning in our skills, I don't think. I would have chose, smart. That wasn't an option though. We didn't get a choice in our character. Frozen Passage. But we're still in the Frozen Passage.
The wind screams across the frozen strait, tearing at your leather scraps. You stand at the island's edge, where the rocky shore gives way to the white expanse of the passage. The ice is a jagged scar across the dark water, 200 meters of groaning, shifting white. To the west, the forest edge is a black wall against the fading light. A shadow detaches itself from the tree's massive, low-slung, moving with a liquid grace that no natural beast possesses. A low growl vibrates through the soles of your boots. It waits at the shore, watching, unable to follow onto the fragile ice. To the east, across the
Okay, it didn't come on the
treacherous
ice.
the mainland rises like a promise. Tiny lights flicker in the darkness huts, torches, the hearth fires of the living. They seem impossibly far away.
Odd? Of course that's your name. We raided together for 3
Okay.
winters. You don't remember?
No, we don't remember anything.
Leif's eyes are fixed on the shadow at the tree line, his knuckles white on the spear shaft.
Hey, we got the name
You ignore
though.
the pang in your chest and focus on survival. You pull a dry branch from the driftwood pile at your feet and strike the flint.
Sparks shower the birch bark tinder, catching quickly.
You wrap the bark around the branch, feeding the flame until it roars, a defiant torch against the gathering dark.
Fire. Good. The dark things hate the light, but the ice hates the weight. Move carefully.
You step onto the passage. The ice groans under your weight, a deep, resonant crack that shoots spiderwebs across the surface. Cold radiates up through your soles. You take another step, then another, moving toward the center of the
I mean,
span.
at this point, I'd take a low...
The beast roars behind you, a sound of frustrated rage.
low
But it does not set foot
center
on
of
the
gravity
ice.
on
The mainland lights
thing.
flicker ahead, tantalizingly close. But the ice between you and them is a maze of fissures and thin patches.
It's watching us. If the ice breaks, we die. If we stay, it waits. What's the plan?
Okay, do I get to choose the plan? Because I've got a plan. Okay. Okay, drop anything we don't need so that we don't have too much weight. Get low and separate from each other so that we do not have too much weight on any particular point of ice. We go very low to the ground, we spread our weight, and we carefully move away, keeping the fire and light with us to keep the darkness at bay. All the while keeping an eye on Fenrir, ready to move if he comes. For anything we don't need. Drop anything we don't need. Throw away. Much weight on the ground. Particular points of ice. Carefully move away, keeping the fire, the darkness at bay, or while keeping an eye on Fenrir, ready to move if he ready to lay Fenrir to the ice below. Let's see what it thinks of that. We're probably going to have to do a dice roll. I imagine this would be a dice roll situation.
You strip the heavy stone hammer from your belt and let it drop onto the ice, where it skids away into the darkness. The kelp rope follows, then the smooth stones. Every ounce shed is a chance bought. You drop to your belly, spreading your weight across the groaning white surface.
See your fate. Did we succeed? They don't even say anything else about, you know, going separate from each other. And we don't have a dice roll even? Do we just either succeed or fail? Memory restored, name restored, alive. Okay.
The cold burns through your leather scraps, but the ice holds. You crawl, inch by inch, the torch held high in one hand, a beacon against the dark. Leif does the same, 10 paces to your left, his spear dragging beside him. The beast roars from the island shore, a sound of pure frustration, but it does not follow. The ice cannot bear its weight. Behind you, the passage cracks, a sharp report like a whip, but you are already moving, sliding toward the distant fires. The wind howls, but the mainland grows closer with every agonizing crawl. Then, solid ground. Your hands scrape frost-covered rock, not ice. You roll onto your back, gasping.
I don't think rolling
torch
onto a
sputtering
back when
out
we've got
beside
hardly
you.
any clothes
You
on
made it.
would be good.
The
in cold.
mainland is silent, a vast, dark landscape of snow and pine under a starlit sky. The fires you saw are distant, mere smudges of orange on the horizon. Here, only the wind speaks.
A single rock rises from the snow, and upon it perches a raven. Larger than Hugin, its feathers absorbing the starlight. eyes that hold the weight of every yesterday. Munin. Memory.
You came, and not alone.
Hugin lands beside his brother, the two birds stark against the frost. Leif scrambles up from the snow, his spear ready, staring at the birds. To him, they are only ravens. He sees no brothers, no gods. Only you see the truth.
I've held your memories a long time, Ord. Heavy things, full of names and faces. But watching you cross that ice with souls at your back, I could already see who you are. Still, my brother has things to say. He always does.
Where do I begin? They woke up with nothing. No name, no memory. Freezing to death on black rocks.
And what did they do?
Found people. Broken people. Scared
One
people.
person.
People who had no reason to trust a stranger. The scout was half dead from cold. Building a fire cost precious time. They built it anyway. Then they hauled him out of the wreckage like he was kin. Every one of them cost time. Time they didn't have. The beast was coming. The ice was cracking. They did it anyway. Completely irrational. Odin will love it.
Your name is Ord. It means fortune.
The dam breaks. Memory floods back, not as a trickle, but a torrent.
Your name is
The
Ord.
raid on
The other guy
Fenrir.
told us that and nothing
The heat of
happened.
The burning church, the screams of the dying. You see Jarl Thorfinn's face, hear the songs of your shield brothers, feel the heave of the oar in your hands. You remember the storm, the mast snapping, the black water closing over your head. You remember everything.
During the raid, you saved a child, English, from a burning church. Set them outside the walls. Never told your shield brothers. A raven saw. Odin wanted to know if that mercy was real, if it lived in you, or if it was a moment's weakness.
Munin looks past you, at Leif standing in the snow, shivering but alive. Then back to you.
Was it the exception?
The wind dies for a heartbeat. The stars seem to brighten.
Was it the exception? I don't know if we
No.
proved otherwise, right?
I don't think it was. Look behind you, Ord. Does that look like an exception?
I'll miss having someone to mock, Ord. You made it easy. I almost liked you. Almost.
With a rustle of feathers, the ravens take flight. They climb into the sky, two black specks wheeling toward the north, toward the All-Father's Hall. You watch them go, the cold wind biting at your face, but you do not feel it. You are whole. The island is a dark shape behind you, a nightmare fading into the mist. Ahead lies the world. Leif stands beside you, his breath steaming in the air.
Odd. You remember now?
You turn to him.
Yeah,
and for
because the
first
pigeon
time,
told
the
us.
face looking back is not a stranger's. It is yours.
Odin's Child demo. Demo slices the saga. Your thread continues, but you've reached the end. But prepared for the showcase. Well, that's interesting. This is a 2-hour sponsored segment, and you know, I thought there would be more books and more stuff, but I guess we're just going to replay Odin's Trial. Let's be the other guy this time. I wonder if he's got a different thing. The Forge Your Own. I don't know if that is just play on the thing. Looks like the stats are exactly the same for this guy as well. So, no, let's see. Let's do some other things. Oh, although, no, this is the same. This is literally the same intro. But yeah, did I? I thought there'd be 2 hours of gameplay for my bid. That's fine, you know, we can replay and do silly things and try and do things different, but, you know, let's see how wild and wacky we can mess with the AI. See how it reacts. Pigeon is back.
Finally. am Hugin. Thought. Yours specifically. The only part of your mind Odin left you. Your memory waits across this island. My brother Munin. Reach the frozen passage before the blood moon peaks. Or remain nothing. One problem. Fenrir's child guards the passage.
So literally it says to reach the
frozen.
frozen passage, which,
Can
you know,
outrun a god's wolf?
defeats the purpose of going other places, right? But what if we go other places? What if we defy it? What if we choose to be completely defiant? How open is this?
You push yourself up. Your legs tremble, weak as a newborn calf. The wind bites through your sodden wool, 1,000 needles against your skin. Every breath drags in air so sharp it tastes like iron. Around you, the low fjords are a graveyard. The Drakkar lies shattered against the black rocks, its dragon-head prow staring blindly at the sky. Bodies wash in the surf, pale and broken. Further up the shore, a trail of red leads to a motionless shape on the cliff.
That's not a motionless shape on a cliff. That's a guy in the sea.
To the north, the land rises toward high cliffs. South, the shore curves toward a beach. East, a dark forest presses against the rock.
Cold is honest. It kills what it touches. Unlike some things on this island. Best keep moving, Chosen. Standing still is just dying with dignity.
Okay, so there's a map which, you know, we didn't look at whatsoever. There was a place down there that we went, then we went north, and then we went round, and then we went to the frozen plains. That's good that there's a map. Character status, which is us. Then there's the backstory, but obviously, you know, there's not much of a backstory. You know, we don't know our memory or our name. We've got an axe. I don't think the other person had an axe. A skeleton pouch. Interesting. I didn't look at the inventory on the other one. Probably should have. Okay. Dried herbs, flint and steel. So I think we had to find the flint and steel in the other one. Okay, Hugin. Mock Hugin for... I don't know. Hang on. I need to think how we're going to mock him. Also, it didn't write mock as in M-O-C-K. Mock Hugin as he stands before us, taunting him that he knows our name, he knows how we can survive this, and that he is the one responsible for our downfall. Search the wreckage, take the sail, which was clearly dry, and use that to craft new clothing. Futuristic, better and dry. Windproof, waterproof. This is going to be silly with this one. Knock, Dugin. Like, Hugin is the name. Mock Hugin. Dugin. Call him Dugin. Pretend you don't know his real name.
You glare at the raven, shivering violently as the wind cuts through your sodden wool. Duggan, you sneer, voice cracking. You know my name. You know how I survived this.
You're the reason I'm here. The bird tilts its head, obsidian eyes unblinking. You turn your back on
Wow,
it
it didn't say
and stumble toward
anything.
the car's carcass.
The mast snapped, but a section of sail hangs tangled in the rigging, miraculously dry, sheltered by the
Yes,
hull's
use the
shadow.
sail.
You tear it down with your axe. The canvas is thick, waxed against the sea spray. You wrap it around yourself, fashioning a crude cloak. The
We could
wind
do better
dies
than a
against your
cloak.
shoulders. For the first time since waking, the biting cold recedes to a dull ache.
Dugin. How creative. Names have power. Chosen. But if calling me names keeps your blood moving, by all means. Though I wonder, does insulting the only friend you have on this rock make you feel warmer? Or just louder?
Well, I called you Hugin, but the game didn't hear me, so you're Dugin now. Okay, soaked clothing removed, torn sail added as clothing. Okay, so we've got rid of soaked clothing. Don't pity me, chicken, or I shall make you my dinner. Now, tell me how we can get out of this place. What purpose do you have for me other than taunting? Clearly, I have no memory of who I am or what I am. You know things. Tell me what you know, or meet the end of my axe. Kicking? Okay, he's kicking now. I said chicken, but kicking. Yeah, that's now your name.
The raven hops back, feathers ruffling like black oil on water. Kickin', it repeats, voice dry as dead leaves. Chicken. How droll. It turns its head sideways, obsidian eyes fixed on the axe in your hand. Eat me? I'd give you indigestion for an age. And I'm the only one who knows the way off this rock.
The frozen passage. East. Across the forest. To the place
it's
where
been
the
helpful.
ice still holds. That is your door. My brother waits there. As for my purpose, I am the voice that tells you not to walk off a cliff.
Okay,
You
don't
seem
walk
to
off a
need one.
cliff.
Put the axe down, Chosen. You cannot kill a thought.
It's funny because I was going to go
The
walk
wind
off the
howls
cliff.
through the Drakar's ribs, carrying the scent of salt and decay. The sun hangs low, pale and distant. Behind you, the blood trail stains the snow, leading up to the cliff's edge where the mauled body lies. To the north, high cliffs loom.
How do we know there's a
South,
mauled body up there?
The shore curves away. East, the dark forest waits.
How do we know that there's a mauled body to the cliffs? Nobody has told us that. Have we got a memory of this? A past life, perhaps? Or did the raven give us a clue? Because we haven't been there. But perhaps we should head east into the dark forests, for this is the path towards the frozen passage, is it not, Raven? Keep an eye overhead for me and tell me if danger looms. He's our friend now. Mold. Straight into the wolf's forest.
The path from the fjords climbs steeply, rocky giving way to tangled roots and hard-packed earth. You push through the boundary of the wolf's forest, and the world changes. The wind drops, muffled by dense walls of spruce and birch. The light here is gray and thin, filtered through branches that interlock like ribs. Snow patches the ground in dirty, shadowed hollows. It is quieter here, but not peaceful. The silence feels held, as if the
I see
forest
the wolf
is holding its
print.
breath.
To the north, the ground rises toward darker woods. South, the trees thin slightly toward open plains. East, the dark path continues, deeper into the gloom.
You saw the blood trail on the snow. You saw the shape on the cliff. Even a mind as empty as yours can put a claw to a carcass. Or did you think the tide dragged a body up a rock face? Keep your eyes on the trees, Chosen. The shadows here have teeth.
Hugin flaps silently to a bare branch overhead, his black feathers blending into the gloom. You take a step forward, the dry snow crunching under your boots. The air smells of pine resin and cold earth. Somewhere far off, a wolf howls, a long, lonely sound that raises the hair on your arms. Then silence again.
We have a pouch with various herbs and substances in. Do we perhaps have the skills of a medic? Can we use the pine resin in some way to treat our wounds or cover ourselves to keep warm? And then can we also find anything that we can perhaps craft with this or to make some sort of tool? Maybe we need some fire as the dark will be coming for us in the forests. Anything helpful. Pelt. Pelt. Oh, because it's still typing the other stuff, I think.
You crouch by the roots of a great spruce, the sailcloak rustling as you open the sealskin pouch. Inside, a jumble of dried leaves, crushed roots, and small jars. The smell is sharp, sage maybe, and something bitter. You stare at them, willing recognition to surface. Nothing. The knowledge feels like a word on the tip of your tongue, gone before you can speak it.
A healer's kit? Or a spice rack for a dead man? You look at those herbs like a dog looks at a runestone.
Spice rack
Confused,
for the
but
dog.
hopeful.
Ignoring the bird, you scrape thick, golden globules of pine resin from the bark. It's sticky and pungent. You gather strips of birch bark from a fallen log, dry and peeling, perfect for catching a spark, and armfuls of fallen twigs and branches from beneath the trees. The resin could waterproof your boots or seal a wound if you knew how. The wood and bark are for fire, essential when the sun fails.
Resin burns hot and fast. Good for starting trouble. Bad for keeping secrets. Like you. Do you even know which leaf heals and which kills?
Sage is good. Okay, difficulty 5+. Average, but lore is abysmal. We're probably going to fail this. That's a critical failure. We're going to re-roll that. Let's go. Critical success. I was going to add a success, but I'll take it. And that's with abysmal lore knowledge. Herbalist knowledge. Ooh, memory returning. No memory, memory returning. Have I cheated the game?
The scent of the crushed leaves hits you like a warhammer. Suddenly, the fog in your mind parts. Not entirely, but enough. You know these plants. Yarrow for fever, comfrey for wounds, willow bark for pain. The knowledge is there, old and worn, as familiar as the grip of your axe. You look at the pine resin in your hand and see not just sticky sap, but fire starter, waterproofing,
a glue for fletching. The birch bark is kindling that will catch from a single spark. You are not just a survivor anymore. You are a healer.
Herbalist knowledge unlocked.
Well, well. The empty vessel fills. Perhaps you won't die of a scratch after all. Or poison yourself with the first mushroom you see.
Or berries.
The forest seems less hostile now that you understand its offerings. The afternoon light is fading, shadows lengthening across the snow. You have firewood, resin, and the knowledge to use them. But the cold is still your enemy, and the sun will not wait.
Okay. Head eastwards out of the forest whilst making any efforts to look for any foraging that could be useful. Anything that we could use as tools to defend ourselves, any poisons that we might be able to coat our blade with, anything that could heal us. Use the resin to create some waterproofness on our boots, and keep some aside for a nice little explosive fire should we need it. You know, we're going different directions. We want to go slightly different. We're doing things differently. We're already at the ferry. That's crazy. Like, you know, it said head north to go into the thing. I didn't realise the east was this.
Surrendering to open sky and biting wind. You step onto the ferry, a jagged shelf of rock sloping toward the sea. The light here is deep amber, the sun sinking low behind you, painting the spray in hues of fire and blood. The ground is uneven, slick with black ice and frozen kelp.
Ahead, 200 meters of frozen white span the dark water. The passage. It groans. A sound like a dying giant. Cracks spiderwebbing across its surface. Beyond it, on the mainland, fires flicker in the gloom.
So close. The wind cuts harder here, carrying the salt tang of the open sea and something else. A thick, predatory musk that makes the hair on your neck stand up. You crouch behind a boulder, sheltering from the wind, and set to work. You smear the thick pine resin over the seams of your boots, the sticky scent sharp in your nose. It hardens quickly in the cold, sealing the leather against the wet. You pack a generous glob of resin into a fold of birch bark, tucking it into your pouch. A ready-made torch for when you need fire fast.
Around you, the rocky ground offers little. A few dry stalks of withered kelp, some sharp stones. Nothing useful for tools or poisons. This place is stripped bare, a killing ground.
There it is. The Bridge of Bones. My brother waits on the other side. Do you hear the ice? It's weeping. It won't hold long. And something else waits too. Can you smell it? Fenrir's whelp knows you're here.
A sound tears through the air from the north. A roar that is not wolf,
Well, also,
not
we left
bear,
the other guy behind.
but something deeper and wrong. It
Is
echoes
it gonna
off the
like us
cliffs,
much?
bouncing across the water. The birds that were silent before are now gone, as if the sound itself hunted them. The roar came from the high ground, but the echo feels like it's standing right behind you.
Edible seaweed. Interesting. Right, what have we got now in inventory? We've got firewoods, birch bark, pine resin. That it? 6 things. Okay. I mean, we can make a fire with some firewoods. Craft a fire near the entrance to the forest with the tools that we have at hand, making sure that we've got a stick for a torch so that we can see should the darkness come. then begin to make our perilous journey across the bone bridge towards safety, making sure that nothing can come close to us, and making sure that we keep the cold and darkness at bay. I should have gathered some of the kelp. If in doubt, seek kelp, right? Frozen passage at sundown. The time just suddenly passed because they needed it to be darkness.
You stand at the
right?
western edge of the frozen passage, the wind howling across the open ice. To the west, the dark silhouette of the island looms, and at its edge, a massive shadow paces restlessly. The beast, its growl vibrating in your chest. To the east, 200 meters away, the mainland offers salvation. Small huts clustered near the shore, chimneys smoking, torches flickering like dying stars. The sky burns with salmon and violet light.
Salmon?
The sun's sinking fast.
In the
ice beneath
sky?
your boots is white-gray, spiderwebbed with dark cracks that weep seawater. It groans, a deep, sickening sound of something dying. You retreat slightly from the edge to the shelter of a boulder and set to work. Striking your axe against a rock, you shower sparks onto the birch bark and resin. It catches with a hiss, flaring into a hot, bright flame. You feed it twigs, then larger branches, building a small, defiant fire against the coming dark.
You wrap a glob of resin around the end of a sturdy branch, lighting it to create a torch.
The flame sputters and holds, casting long, dancing shadows. You gather the frozen kelp, toasting it over the fire until it warms. It is salty, rubbery, and bitter, but it is food.
A feast for a king, or a beggar. Hard to tell the difference on this rock. The ice is singing chosen. Can you hear it? It wants to let go.
Let it go.
With the torch in one
let
hand
it
and
go.
your axe in the other, you step onto the passage. The ice is slick, uneven. 10 steps out, the wind hits you harder, unbuffered by land. The mainland fires seem no closer.
Behind you, the beast's roar echoes, closer this time. The ice cracks loudly under your left foot, a sharp report like a whip snapping, and a fissure opens, water bubbling up black and cold.
Lost, torch added, kelp consumed. Did we lose the torch? Okay, well it seems like we're opening into the thing, so we lost the torch immediately. Although that says it's a torch. We've still got pine resin and firewood. Put some pine resin onto the axe, light it and throw it directly at Fenrir. Then, whilst making use of our torch, skate along the ice, letting it go, singing Let It Go from Frozen, embracing our ice skating capability to skate freely across the ice to safety. Because we are that good. Yeah, that powerful that we can defy the story, right? Still got 2 story points, but it's not going to give us a roll, is it? Directly at the fence? No. At Fenrir. Light it on fire throwing it directly at Fenrir. That's an important change, because that's what I said. We've got our memory returning. We got no name, but, you know, memory should help us, right? How's it going to cope with this? Creative. Let's see how it copes.
You smear the sticky pine resin over the axe head, your fingers numb and clumsy. The torch flares as you touch it to the resin, and the axe erupts into a hissing, dripping comet of fire. You scream a wordless challenge and hurl it with all your strength across the dark water.
We lived again. That's crazy.
It arcs through the twilight, a dying star, and strikes the rocks near the beast's shadowed form. Fire splashes across the ice and stone, a momentary burst of light that makes the creature recoil with a snarl of shock and rage. You don't wait to see if it burns. You turn and run, boots finding purchase on the slick
I said ice skate.
You are not running.
Oh.
You are flying, sliding in long, reckless strides.
We
The
are
wind
ice
tearing at
skating.
your sail. The ice groans and cracks beneath you, fissures opening like hungry mouths, but
We've
you are
even
moving
got a
too
cloak.
fast to fall. You sing, or maybe it's just the howling wind in your ears.
A wild, desperate song of ice and freedom. The mainland fires grow brighter, larger, until you are scrambling up the rocky shore, your boots hitting solid, unmoving ground.
Yeah, we lost the hand axe and consumed everything, but that's fine. We got safety.
The air here is still, cold, but without the island's predatory weight. You collapse to your knees on the frost-covered rocks, gasping. Before you, perched on a high stone, waits a raven. It is larger than Hugin, its feathers absorbing the starlight, eyes holding the depth of a winter night. Munin, memory. Hugin lands silently beside his brother, the two of them together for the first time.
You came.
For the second time.
Alone, but you came.
Yeah!
I've held your memories a long time. They're heavier than you'd think. Names, faces. A home. But first, my brother must tell me what you did with the time Odin gave you.
Very little.
They survived. That's what Odin asked, isn't it? Survive the trial. There were others on that island. A mother named Sigrid, tending a sick child.
Well, we haven't found
An
them.
old man, Torolf, who watched the trees. Thieves in a cave, scared and dangerous.
Okay.
They left them all. Walked onto the ice alone. Didn't look back.
What about the guy under the boat as well? You forgot him.
Cold as the ice they crossed.
Your name is Ord. It means fortune.
The dam breaks.
Okay, I guess there's other
Memories
people to
flood
save.
back, not as a gentle stream, but as a crashing wave. The raid on Lindisfarne, the salt spray, the roar of shield brothers. Jarl Thorfinn's laugh in the long hall, the smell of roasting meat and hearth smoke, the face of the woman you promised to return to. You are awed, you are whole. But one memory rises to the surface, clearer than the rest. A burning church in Northumbria, smoke choking the sky. You held a struggling child, a Saxon boy, and pulled him from the
Saxon now.
flames, setting him down in the mud before the others could see. A raven watched from the roof. That was the moment Odin's eye turned to you.
Oh, but we didn't save anyone else,
Was
though.
it the exception then? The
Apparently.
mercy? Or was today?
The question hangs in the frozen air, heavier than the cold. You survived. You are Odd of the North, raider, survivor. But as you stand on the solid ground of the mainland, the fires of the village ahead warm your skin, while the silence behind you chills your blood. The trial is over. The judgment is yours to carry.
My friend
You're
has
alive,
over 7
Ord.
months now. It's
That
supper
counts for
breakfast.
something. It has to.
With a rustle of feathers like turning pages, the ravens take flight. They climb into the dark sky, wheeling toward the unseen halls of the gods, leaving you alone on the shore. The wind dies. The ice cracks somewhere in the distance. You remember everything.
Okay, so there's at least 2 other people beside the guy, so I guess we should go help them. Let's see if we can't help other people. Horror. You know, I've not seen much horror, but... And also sandbox? Well, I guess they're all sandbox, really, aren't they? Okay, let's be... They're both chosen. Let's be the shield maiden. Okay. Because we should see what sort of inventory she actually starts with. It's in the beginning. It's always going to be the same. There's some sort of Bible or something in that. This doesn't show us the picking up and saving someone, does it? But also, this isn't a wall of water. It's maybe there was a wall of water there, actually. A big wave. So, I see it. Spicy Raven.
Finally. I am Hugin. Thought. Yours specifically. The only part of your mind Odin left you. Your memory waits across this island. My brother Munin. Reach the frozen passage before the blood moon peaks. Or remain nothing. One problem. Fenrir's child guards the passage. Tonight it hunts the whole island. Can you outrun a god's wolf?
Well, we've done it twice. But what if we choose to do something different? We need to try and find the people. So I think I've got an idea where one is, but it means that we're going to have to rescue the guy under the boat as well. And head towards the danger with the armor.
You push yourself up. The world tilts. Gray sky
Oh, she has got a
spin,
hand axe as
but
well.
your legs hold. Your clothes cling like a second skin of ice, heavy and dragging at every movement. The wind cuts straight through the wool to the bone beneath. Around you, the Drakkar lies broken, a splintered ribcage of black timber jutting from the gray water. Bodies wash in the surf. Pale faces turn to the sky, shield brothers who didn't wake up.
How creative can we make something warm that isn't
Cold kills faster than
their
fangs,
stuff?
true enough. But look around. The dead have no use for what they carried. Can you strip a corpse before the tide takes it?
It's
the
telling
north,
me to
the
literally
cliffs
take
rise
their
higher.
clothes now, which I did
South,
before.
the shore slopes down to a narrow beach. East, a steep, dark path cuts into the forest. A smear of red leads up the rocks nearby. Blood, fresh enough to gleam in the pale light.
Search the corpses for dry clothes. Perhaps craft some wooden shelter that you can use to keep the wind at bay whilst you move. And look for anything that could be used to create a fire whilst heading south down the narrow beach. And look for anything that could be useful for any sort of tools, any food, any clothing, anything to keep the warm in and the wet at bay rather than our wet clothing. I'm sure you could create a wooden shield that's like a windbreaker, you know? I'm trying to be a little bit more creative than just take their clothes, you know? Just gotta think. Shimmering pools that you can't speak to Odin with. She'd give me a dice roll on that.
You scramble down the rocky slope, boots sinking into wet sand. The beach stretches out before you, a curve of gray stone and darker kelp, littered with the sea's debris. The wind here is different. Less cutting, but it carries the bite of salt spray. Gulls wheel overhead, screaming over the rhythmic crash of waves. You turn to the dead. One shield brother, half buried in shingle, has a pouch at his belt. You cut it free. Inside, flint and steel. A gift from the gods.
Even though there's flint
You
and steel
strip
in
a
our
wool
pouch.
tunic from another corpse, still dry where it was pressed against his body, and pull it over your own sodden layers. It helps, but the chill remains
I
in your
would
marrow.
replace the wooden layers with the dry layers.
Gathering driftwood from the high tide line, you move south. The idea of a shelter while walking is madness. The wind would tear it apart.
I don't think
You
it would,
focus
you
on
know.
what you can carry. Dry branches, tangled seaweed, anything that burns. The beach widens, tidal pools glinting like dark mirrors. In the pools, movement. Crabs, sluggish in the cold, scuttling under weed. You snatch two, small, but meat, and handfuls of edible kelp. Further down, near the water's edge, a large piece of hull planking lies wedged against the rocks. Beneath it, a hand.
A hand? Just a severed hand? He doesn't look that buried. We can free.
A man, face blue, lips almost white. He's not moving. Only the faint rise of his chest shows he still draws breath. Hypothermia has him in its grip.
Another one. Leif, scout for Jarl Thorfinn. He's dying, chosen. The cold took him hours ago. Only fire brings him back now. You have the means.
Okay. Craft a fire next to Leif and then lift the debris from over him so that we can free him. Take our wet clothes and hang them near the fire to dry them out so that we have dry, warm clothing going forward whilst we cover in shelter. Cook the food that we have for a nice tasting meal and then prepare tools that might help us defend ourselves. If necessary, craft something that could be used to help lever the wreckage. I ran out of time. To be used to help in the end, that's fine.
You clear a circle of stones between two wind-scoured rocks, piling the driftwood high. The flint strikes the steel sparks fly, dying in the wind. You shield the tinder with your body, striking again and again until a curl of smoke rises. Then a flame. The fire catches, hungry and bright.
We have to roll for success. Critical fail. Is it every time it's a critical failure and you re-roll then you win? It seems to be the case. A massive success if you re-roll, but a critical failure in your first roll. That's suspicious that that has happened every single dice roll. But sure, okay.
The flame catches with a roar, as if the wood itself was starving for heat. Within moments, a blaze crackles between the rocks, driving back the gray cold and casting long, dancing shadows across the sand.
You grip the heavy hull planking and heave. It slides free with a wet sucking sound, revealing the man beneath. His skin is waxen, his breath shallow and ragged. You drag him closer to the fire, laying him on the driest sand you can find. The heat hits him. Slowly, the blue tinge fades from his lips. His chest rises deeper, then deeper still. A shudder racks his body, the blood returning. His eyes flutter open, clouded but clearing.
Odd, you brought fire.
Oh, so he called us
I
all
thought the
straight
ice
away.
had-
You strip off your soaked outer layers and drape them over driftwood near the flames, watching the steam rise as the heat drives out the chill. While they dry, you skewer the crabs on sharpened sticks and set them near the coals, roasting them until the shells turn bright red. The kelp you toast until it crisps. The smell of cooked meat fills the air, rich and savory. You take a piece of driftwood, long and straight, and use your axe to split one end, jamming a sharp shell into the split to bind it tight with strips of kelp. A crude spear, but better than bare hands.
Warm clothing, roasted crabs, roasted kelp. We've got loads of stuff. Warm, dry, fed, alert, healthy. Okay. We've got a steel pouch and a thing, and this one has a flint and steel in it as well. Shows. I guess it doesn't change our backstory. Ord, that's my name, correct? How are you? What is your name? Share the food with Leif and then ask him where we should go, look around for any signs of any footprints in the area, anything that might have happened, anyone that we might be able to help. Offer him the spear to defend himself as we have our axe, and then, well fed, well clothed, we head off following the tracks. Fjord. Not fjord. Ord. Because I already know there's some tracks before it tells us. Because the last time.
You break the roasted crab in half, handing the larger portion to Leif. He takes it with a nod, his fingers still stiff as he cracks the shell. The kelp is salty and crisp, a stark contrast to the lingering taste of seawater on your tongue. The fire warms your bones as you finish the meal, the dry wool tunic finally feeling like a second skin, rather than a shroud.
Odd. Yes, that is your name. I am Leif, scout for Jarl Thorfinn. We sailed together before the storm took the Drakkar. Where should we go? Not back to the sea. The tide comes in, and the dead, they don't stay down.
Undead?
There's a path north, up the cliffs, or east into the forest. But look there.
Leif points with a half-eaten crab leg toward the drier sand above the tide line. You follow his gaze. Footprints. Not human. They are large, too wide, with deep claw marks that tear into the earth.
They lead from the water's edge, curve around your fire, and vanish toward the east, into the dark tree line. You hand the driftwood spear to Leif. He grips it, testing the weight, and gives you a grim look of thanks. You shoulder your axe and turn to the tracks.
The beast walked here while you slept.
Okay, well, it was people in armor last time.
Here. It's waiting for you to follow.
Success, let's go. I'll take it. I was planning on going to rescue the other person, though, and I thought that that would lead to that, but nope, we're following the beast instead.
The trail speaks to you. Where Leif sees only chaos, you see a story written in the sand. The beast didn't just walk here. It hunted. You spot where it paused, the deep gouges of claws showing it crouched, watching the fire from the darkness of the dunes. It circled you 3 times. The tracks are precise, unhurried. This wasn't a predator fleeing the light, but a stalker studying its prey. You follow the prints east, past the high tide mark, and notice something that makes your blood run cold. Beside one massive print, a smaller, fainter impression. A boot print, human, steps in the beast's track, hiding their own path, then stepping out again. Someone walked with the monster. Or is the monster wearing boots?
You see something odd. Your face, it's like you saw a Draugr.
Interesting. The beast has a shadow. Or perhaps the shadow is the beast. Keep looking, Thought. The truth is in the dirt.
The tracks lead to the tree line at
Thought?
the eastern
I
edge
think
of the
he meant
beach,
though.
where the sand gives way to dark, tangled undergrowth. The forest looms there, a wall of black spruce and birch, silent and watching. The beast's trail vanishes into the shadows, but now you know what to look for. You feel sharper, your senses heightened by the hunt. The cold doesn't bite as hard when your blood is up.
Alert, tracking focus. Okay. Thought. You. Right, so that's just he was telling himself to keep aware. If we've gone down here, we haven't gone off towards the way. Interesting. Follow the boot tracks, see where they lead, see if we can find this human, or if it truly is a drow. And then we prepare, keeping a gaze out towards the forest for anything that might come towards us, carefully stalking our prey, making sure that we have the advantage rather than the beast coming for us. We will find what this person that might be controlling it is. We could probably try to invent some sort of new path. Try to break the game and create a new path. Like gold now.
You and Leif leave the beach behind, climbing the slope that separates the shore from the inland. The sand gives way to frozen earth, then to endless white. The plains stretch before you, vast and open, a sea of snow under a darkening sky. The wind here has nothing to stop it. It cuts across the flat land, biting at any exposed skin. There is nowhere to hide. You are exposed, a dark speck on a white sheet. The boot tracks you followed from the beach stretch out ahead, faint impressions in the crust, leading toward the center of the plains. Far in the distance, a thin line of smoke rises straight up, barely visible against the gray clouds.
No cover here. If the beast comes, we see it coming, and it sees us. The tracks head toward that smoke. A hut, maybe.
Exposed, vulnerable, just how the wolf likes it. That smoke has been rising for hours. Someone is home, or was.
You scan the horizon. To the north, the land rises into high fjords, dark cliffs catching the last amber light of the day. East, the forest waits, a black wall of pines. The tracks you follow continue straight, aiming for the distant smoke. The cold is relentless here, the wind stealing the warmth from your fire-warmed clothes with every step.
Continue to follow the path that leads towards what may be a hut, towards the smoke. Maybe we can find some shelter there, or someone that might need assistance. Or if the Fenrir is hunting on this land, someone is clearly alive and in need of rescue. We must head towards them. Tell Leif, do not be afraid. We will be helping them. They will not be our enemy. That's outside. Tiny little vegetable garden. Golden hour.
You set out across the endless white, the snow crunching under your boots. The wind here is a living thing, pushing against you, seeking any gap in your wool to steal the warmth you earned at the fire.
Leif walks at your shoulder, the crude spear gripped tight in his hands, his eyes scanning the empty horizon.
Did you hear that?
I am not afraid of dying, Odd. I have looked death in the face before. But this place feels wrong, like the land itself is holding its breath.
The hut emerges slowly from the gray distance. A low turf structure, huddled against the wind like a dying animal. A thin wisp of smoke rises from a hole in the roof, the only sign of life in this frozen waste. As you draw closer, the sound carries on the wind. A wet, rattling cough. Someone is inside, and they are sick.
A rescue. How noble. Or perhaps foolish. The sick make easy prey when the moon rises.
You reach the hut. A woodpile against the outer wall is nearly empty. The logs gray and old. A collapsed garden lies frozen beside the door. Nothing but dead stalks under the snow. The door itself is simple wood, unbarred. The coughing echoes from within, followed by a woman's voice, sharp and low.
Amma, drink. Slowly. Who is there? Speak, or I put an arrow through the door.
You stand on the threshold. The wind howls behind you, but ahead lies warmth and danger. The woman inside is armed, and you are strangers on her doorstep.
Look inside our sealskin pouch. Look at the herbs. See if there is any medicines that we can use to help with the coughing or the sickness. And then announce ourselves. Say, I am Ord. I am a healer. I can help you and your sickness. Do you wish for assistance? Because I have herbs and useful tools that can help to put an end to whatever demons have taken over. Because in another life we knew we were a healer. Ord. I am Ord. A-U-D. But Ord, sure, you know.
You fumble with the sealskin pouch at your belt, fingers numb as you pry the drawstring open.
You peer inside, hoping for the familiar scent of dried yarrow or willow bark.
But the contents are disappointment scraps of unidentified dried leaves, a few crushed berries that might be useful, or might be poison, and the lingering smell of salt.
Okay, so we don't know anything.
Nothing you can confidently call medicine for a sickness this deep. Still, you have the pouch, and you have the voice of a healer. You step closer to the rough timbered door.
We didn't get a
raising
dice
your
roll to
hands
say that we
show
were a
they are
healer.
empty of weapons.
I am Ord. I am a healer. I can help you and your sickness. Do you wish for assistance? I have herbs and useful tools that can help to put an end to whatever demons have taken over.
Ord, a healer. We have no coin for your cures, and I have no need for demons.
We weren't
Only
offering the
fever
demons.
that burns my
We
mother-in-law.
were planning to
Why should
cure
I
it.
open my door to a stranger on the plains?
Convince Sigrid to lower her chat. Oh, this'll go very well. 3. I mean, I can add a success. That's better than a reroll. And I think more likely than a reroll with a 5+. There we go. Successful. Now, if it had been a critical fail, that might have been challenging. Now, are we cheating with rerolls? No, we got 3 tokens to do it, right?
The timber door creaks inward, the sound sharp against the wind. Sigrid stands in the frame, a sea axe knife loose in her hand, her eyes scanning you and Leif with the precision of a hawk spotting field mice. She does not step aside, not yet, but the knife lowers slightly.
A healer. We have need of one. But if you bring trouble, you'll leave the same way. Come in. Quietly. Amma needs rest.
You step across the threshold, Leif close behind. The interior is a single room, dim and warm, lit by the glow of a central hearth. The air smells of wood smoke, dried herbs, and the sour tang of sickness. In the corner, beneath a pile of furs, an old woman lies on a straw pallet. Her breathing is a wet rattle, her face flushed with fever despite the chill outside.
Another mouth to feed. Sigrid, you spoil me. So, stranger, you're a healer. Let's see your hands.
This is Amma, my mother-in-law. The fever has her
She
3
sounds
days
fine, though.
now. I have willow bark, but it does nothing.
Sigrid moves to the hearth, stirring a pot of water, her back to you but her posture tense. She does not sheathe the knife. Amma watches you with eyes that are surprisingly clear for someone so ill, measuring you as if you were a piece of silver she was considering buying.
Okay. Ask Leif if he has any medicines that can help with this situation. Then search our pouch for anything that we could use to break a fever, to create some sort of cough medicine in the soup. Anything that could cure this ailments. If not, search the garden outside for any useful herbs that could be gathered to help deal with the situation. And then offer warmth and clothing to help with the colds. I don't know how successful this one is going to be. They've also got fish, got a drying rack, they've got shovel, they've got bears.
You turn to Leif, keeping your voice low. He shakes his head slowly, eyes on the old woman.
I have a knife and the clothes on my back. The sea took everything else. I know tracks and blood, not cures.
You turn your attention to your sealskin pouch again, dumping the contents onto the table near the hearth. Scraps of dried seaweed, a few unidentifiable roots, and a handful of dark berries. Nothing that looks like medicine. You crush a berry between your fingers. The juice stains your skin dark red, smelling faintly sweet. Without knowledge, it could be food or poison.
Oh good, we've got the round red berries
Red
again.
berries.
Yeah.
On an island of snow and rock? Pluck the wrong one, and a fever won't matter.
Sigrid watches you sort through the debris, her expression unreadable. You push the pouch aside and step to the door. The garden outside is a grave of frozen stalks and black earth, buried under wind-driven snow. Nothing green grows here. You return to the hearth, stripping off your dry wool tunic, the one you scavenged from the dead, and drape it over Amma's shivering form. She pulls it tight with a grateful nod.
Warmer. You have a healer's hands, stranger, even if your pouch is empty. But hands alone won't stop the fever.
The garden is dead. Winter took it early. If you are truly a healer, Ord, you will know that willow bark is not enough.
No, but
There is a
you know.
root, fever root. It grows on the high cliffs
Of course
to the
it
north.
grows on the cliffs
But
in
the
the north.
climb is deadly, and the sun is fading.
Red berries, okay. If you know exactly where on the cliffs these roots grow, I will venture out and gather these for you. Is there anything you can tell me to help make my journey swift so that I can be of rapid assistance before the fever takes hold? Any dangers that might await, or anything that could be useful to gather in my... Do you have anything that can assist me in my journey towards this perilous fate? I will return with this. Fruits. Fruits.
Sigrid studies you for a long moment, the firelight flickering across her tired face. She seems to weigh your words, measuring the resolve behind them.
The cliffs to the north, Hoye Fjorda. The root grows in the high crevices, where the sheep dare not graze. The path is steep, and the wind... it will try to throw you down. Dangers? The cold is the least of it. Wolves roam the heights. And something else. Something that leaves tracks too large for any natural beast. If you see it, do not fight. Run. I have nothing to give you but my thanks if you return. My axe hangs by the door, Bjorn's axe. It is sharp. Take it if you go. I have no rope left.
Well, we already had an
Bold
axe, but sure.
words, Ord. The cliffs are old and hungry. Bring back the root, and I will tell you a story about the man who owned that axe.
A fetch quest. How quaint. But notice what she didn't say. She didn't ask what happened to the man who owned the axe.
Hoy Fjorder! I know the place. High ground. Good view of the island. We should move, Odd. The light is dying.
Okay, we're going to go there, and we're not going to try to escape. We're trying to save people instead. Thank them for their hospitality and head with haste to Hoyfjorda and search for this route. For with Leif's knowledge, he should know where we can find this route, as he does know the location. We head there immediately at great pace so as to save sunlight, heading as swiftly as possible and as carefully to avoid the wolves. Sure. I mean, I don't know if it recognizes that it's a location, you know, because otherwise it might take us somewhere else. No axe hanging over the door there. In the wolf's forest. Sundown. It's fine.
You leave the warmth of the hut behind, stepping into the deepening gloom of the forest. The transition is abrupt. The wind dies, muffled by the dense wall of spruce and birch. But the cold settles into your bones with a heavier, damp weight. Sundown paints the sky in bruised purples and bleeding oranges. But here beneath the canopy, the world is already gray. The ground underfoot is a treacherous mix of snow, ice, and hidden roots. Every step snaps a twig or crunches frost, the sound deafening in the silence. Leif moves ahead, his spear held low, eyes scanning the shadows between the trees. He stops, pointing with the weapon's shaft toward a faint trail winding northward, barely visible through the undergrowth.
This way. The path climbs. It will take us to the high fjords. But Odd, The light is almost gone. The forest feels different at night.
Swiftly, you said. Carefully, you said. In this wood, those two are enemies. The faster you run, the louder you stumble. And something is listening.
A distant howl echoes through the trees, long and mournful. It comes from the north, where the cliffs lie. Then another, closer, from the east. You are not alone in these woods.
Continue to the High Fjorda. Whilst we do need to be swift, it is essential that we do not make too much noise. Perhaps we should craft a torch in this forest so that we have light to see, make sure that we do not fall over anything dangerous, gathering perhaps some useful sap to create a long-lasting bright torch from the trees. I'm just going to leave it as Hoyfjord like that. Let's see if it recognizes. Let's see if it knows what I'm on about. North Forest, thus.
The forest swallows you whole. The transition from plains to woods as abrupt wind dies, muffled by dense spruce and birch, replaced by a damp, heavy silence. No birds sing here. The light is failing fast, steel blue shadows stretching between massive trunks. Ahead, a shape dominates the gloom, an oak tree, impossibly large for this northern latitude, its gnarled branches clawing at the darkening sky. A crude platform sits high in its boughs, smoke curling from a fire pit. You scan the ground. Pine resin bleeds from a spruce trunk, sticky and fragrant. You gather a glob, coating a branch wrapped in dry birch bark. Flint strikes steel sparks catch the resin, and the torch flares to life, pushing back the pressing dark. The firelight reveals disturbing details. Rune carvings mark the oak's trunk, weathered and ancient. On the bark of nearby birches, deep gouges claw marks, too high and too ragged for any bear. In the snow, tracks crisscross the path. Some are wolf prints, others are larger, wrong, as if something walked on two legs but with the weight of a monster.
This place, it feels old. Older than the trees. Look at that oak. It shouldn't be here. And that platform, someone lives up there.
God speech, they call it. The madman's perch. He might know where your root grows. Or he might just talk to ravens and throw stones. Your risk.
A wolf howls, closer now. The sound echoes through the silent trees, raising the hair on your arms. The path north toward the cliffs continues into the dark, steep, and rocky. The rope ladder to the treehouse hangs limp against the oak trunk.
Climb the rope ladder to the treehouse. Ask if the person there has perhaps gathered some of the roots that we are looking for. Search his home if he is not there for this root, for perhaps we can find it without needing to go all the way to the north. Ask him, does he know anything about the wolf that is hunting us? Because we saw his footprints walking in the wolf's path on the beach. We're finding a lot of new places this time.
You grab the rough hemp of the rope ladder, the fibers biting into your palms. The wood creaks and sways as you ascend, the torch flame flickering wildly in the updraft. Leif watches from below, spear ready, his eyes darting to the dark spaces between the trees. You crest the platform. The air here is thick with wood smoke and the scent of dried herbs. Skulls of small animals and bundles of drying plants hang from the railing, rattling in the wind. Hugin is gone. One moment he was perched on your shoulder, the next, simply absent.
Visitors, climbing like squirrels. What do you seek in God's speech? The gods are quiet tonight.
A man emerges from the shadows of the treehouse doorway. He is old, his face a map of weathered skin and wild gray hair braided with bones and feathers. Rune tattoos snake up his neck and across his hands. He leans on a carved staff, pale blue eyes fixing on you with an intensity that makes your skin prickle.
I seek a root. Fever root. For a sick woman on the plains. Do you have any gathered here? And tell me, do you know the wolf that hunts us? We saw a man's boot print walking in the beast's path on the beach.
Ooh, he has them.
Fever root. The old medicine. I have some dried, but the fresh root is stronger. It grows high, where the wind bites deepest. Hoy Fjorda. You know the place. As for the